Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the UKEL, and we are straight into picks and bans between Lucendi on the blue side and London United on the red side. And look, you've got the names to that. I'm not going to mess it up. I'm Will Vibrant Willingham, by the way. If you're looking for the person who messed it up, and I'm joined by Adrian Javalaforn. I don't know why I just flat out. It wasn't even your
okay.
like normal name. It was your username that blanked. Like
It's all right. No, we go for it.
It's been last game's riddled my brain and. Straight to champ select for this one. Giovanna, why don't you talk us through these first few bands while I try and sort out my life, basically?
Yeah, I mean, Volibear from Lucendi, just don't obviously want to first pick it seems, so not willing to give it over to London United, and Zach just seems more like a targeted ban towards Puru. And then, flip side, Nidalee, Mawa not going to have his hands on that one. Of course, very happy to pick that champion Mawa is from time to time, very proficient at it, so... Blue side ban, not too suspicious. The Varus ban, though, definitely does. And it's going to be interesting to see whether or not London now immediately respond with Ezreal. They beat me to it. Just because Varus and Aphelios both being down means that Ezreal's kind of the only one that's still left in that sort of FS plus tier. Right below, obviously, Kalista, but sort of a pet champion for a lot of players in the AD carry role still. So... not really willing to first pick that Lucendi up because they're picking up the Syndra first.
Of course, for those of you who haven't been keeping up on social media and have been watching UKEL, of course, Lucendi have brought in Zirek into the mid lane. This is due to Emil also serving a suspension for leaving game early. Awaken and Gould are also out. Whether they're out of the roster entirely or just out this week remains to be seen. Jorday was always on the roster as a substitute, has come in at the marksman role, and Reddick 10. I get it!
There you go.
That's good, I like that. Is in... I'm such an idiot. I'm just a moron. I've been looking at his name, I've been doing research on these players, and I just see now Reddick
Alright,
10.
let's...
Oh, okay, he's in the top lane. Sidra was the first lock-in. We've got Trundle and Ornn.
Do you know what would be great? Do you know what would be great?
Okay.
If Lucendi just take Renekton. Because then we don't actually have to differentiate between the champion and the player.
Big. That's
so
smart.
That would be nice. I'm not saying pick it into Ornn though, because that would be a little bit questionable, but Ornn and Trundle, both very powerful frontline champions picked up by London United here, and immediate response going to be the Mordekaiser, makes a lot of sense, has a fine matchup into the Ornn, and just sort of slowly and surely outscales on the side lane, and being able to kind of just remove a frontline from any given sort of skirmish or fight is such a powerful tool, so very happy to lock that one in early given the show of cards by London United. So now Lucendi, kind of a lot of options here. You would imagine they just hide their cards and go into the jungle role, but Vayne actually locked in very, very early, but seeing that there is such a front line on the red side draft, it makes a lot of sense to want to try and just secure in a tank buster. And this does mean with London United actually locking in the Echo, most likely to lane into the Syndra. They know that the Syndra is probably going to be mid now. Just going to be locking in that counter pick for themselves. It does mean that Lucendi now get to remove away 2 AD carry matchups that they're not too fond of to lane into the Vayne.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if you're London United, you probably want to remove away supports that really do well with the Vayne, the Lulu, very case in point. After that, you don't really have to worry about Yuumi this patch. Guide removed, basically, from the game for now. Huzzah, everyone's very happy about that. But if you're Lucendi, you probably just end up banning away 2 very sort of aggressive middle AD carry options. Unsure, it's just really dependent on what they feel like removing in particular. So, have to wait. MF very much suits that sort of lame bully profile, and now, I mean, I suppose you could just remove Fresh away from Lucendi here, just as a added means of sort of the Lantern bot being a thing, but with London being on the red side, it means they could actually take the Thresh for themselves.
Yeah.
So, may not want to actually look to ban that away, maybe just another sort of Ardent champion that can buff up this Vayne could just be the option, as Morgana sort of fits that profile. The Black Shield is definitely something that can keep the Vayne alive for a very long time, longer than she often deserves to, but the Morgana ban kind of gives away the fact that Heathen probably wants the Thresh, so they just say, hey, we don't really care about the AD carries anymore. We know you're probably going to just end up taking Thresh here. This is Heathen's comfort. We can just hold on to the AD carry pick anyway. So banning away the Thresh, I like the decision there from Lucendi. So now it's about whether London want to take their AD carry or whether they want to take their support.
And we're ticking down to see which way they will go. Looks like they're looking at Marksman first. It's going to be the Jinx being locked in. A pretty staple champion in that she's always in that kind of B-A tier and going to be picked up. And now with the support role also being pinched, we're going to see some interesting bot lanes this game just because of the way the bans have gone and Rakan is being considered. But I like the Jinx pick. It's something we don't get to see too often.
Yeah, Jinx is something you don't get to see too often. To memory, the last time that I saw Jinx was actually in a game versus Eminem Academy. Blue Spirits pulled out Jinx into us. So yeah, I'm excited to see what this Jinx can do, but Lucendi just saying, hey, we need a little bit of a go button. They hovered the Rakan to sort of signal that, but they hadn't locked in their jungler yet. The Jarvan sort of fits that. They very well actually could just go Rakan here blind. There's not really too much left that can punish it. That's a good pairing with the Jinx, but seems like they want a different kind of go button in the Leona instead. So still finding the engage from the support from the jungle. Very happy with Lucendi's round out there. And now London United, I mean, there's Nautilus that's still up. Braum is still available. Could even take the Rakan themselves, but it'll be definitely a self-counter pick. Playing with the idea of Zyra potentially, but I feel like that's a really dangerous game.
Waiting for them to decide where they're going with this.
Okay.
It's going to be the Poppy being locked in. That's going to deny the last couple of picks from Lucendi right there and then in the bot lane, because Arthur and Leona are going to struggle to dash in when a Poppy is standing directly on top of a Jinx.
Yeah, I mean, if Heaven is just standing on top of his AD carry here, the Leona's going to find it pretty difficult to ever actually find those Zenith Blades on top of her. And also, of course, Flank Drag from Jarvan. So I actually like this sort of niche-ish support pick here by London United with the Poppy, and it sort of sits very nicely into this free tank line champ draft where everyone kind of just protects the Jinx whilst the Echo just provides some kind of, you know, disruption in the backside. Though I'm gonna find it progressively harder to see what exactly Echo is gonna find in terms of value later on into the game, outside of just being a true split pusher. But I feel like the Mordekaiser is probably going to be more than fine at dealing with him as time goes on. But we'll have to see how the scaling actually sort of like fixes itself. So
you're just in the void right now.
I'm in the void. I'm not, yeah, I can see it too, guys. Don't worry. Not sure. I've been Thanos snapped again.
Not again. You get Thanos slapped every other week on UKEL. I've survived throughout the entire thing, which is good, you know.
Yeah.
Promising. I did a BuzzFeed quiz that said I'd survived the snap, so I mean, 100% success rate, so it's fine. But really interesting to look at, see how these two teams do, because Lucendi obviously had a bit of an overhaul in terms of playing staff and are coming out with a draft which has very strong opponents once again, not as rogue as the Vector one was last game, but still a couple of champions that maybe we don't get to see too often. And London United, of course, playing to prove that they're going to be one of these teams that could contest the playoff spots. A team that not only hasn't been overhauled, but has been playing together for such a long time, was searching for an organization together when it was off-season, managed to find their way into London United's hearts and are now looking to find their way into a W as we jump onto the Rift.
Onto the Rift we are, and London United trying to even up their score, 1 and 2 right now, trying to make that 2 and 2 off of this game, and Lucendi, of course, still searching for their first win, still chasing after it. And I said this last week, you know, whilst their play hasn't exactly been the strongest out of the league, certainly don't believe that they should have lost every single game they've played up until now. So we'll have to see whether the change in personnel has changed, well, overall gameplay. Have to see what kind of adaptations to macro decisions have been adjusted in this week, because last week I had a lot of criticism for Lucendi in terms of their macro. They were really, really slow to the ball, particularly in the early game towards Heralds. Whilst they did find some pretty successful fights, sort of on the follow-up, it was kind of just more or less unforced error. So, kind of hard for me to give them credit when that's kind of the case. But
yeah,
we'll have to see whether things change this week. as junglers both starting up on red buffs, moving over to their blue side quadrants respectively. And I feel like a lot of this early game is going to be on Peru and on Marwa to actually make things happen, whilst we do have relatively aggressive lanes actually all across the board. You'd have to imagine that a lot of the action is going to come through these junglers. Trundle's such an early menace in terms of his actual dueling. Of course, Marwa on Trundle does often or not. Oh, pause. Okay. We're talking about Marwa and he's DC'd, so.
Cast the curse to the highest level. It just disconnects from the game.
I spoke his name and he just immediately disconnected. So
like, what Jamal's talking about, we better get out. Don't get criticized. Don't get the tyrant treatment.
I don't want the tyrant. I don't want the tyrant treatment. I don't want to cast the belt. But no, yeah, it's gonna be on these two junglers to try and find some action early on. As back into the action already. Was very short-lived, and Peru going for a free camp into what seems like a top lane gank. As he's going to wrap around, as Articuno looked like he was going to find a good trade, but Victorio,
knows exactly what's going on there.
Yeah, he
just flashes away. Not going to be too happy to be losing the flash this early on, but also going to be happy that he's not dead currently. So trade-offs where you can find them. So that's the first gank there from Peru, though. Obviously not getting the kill, but going to be making top lane easier to gank in the future. Moving down to the bot side now, and things are likely to be pretty quiet. Mauer coming in behind, though. The ward just died, so I don't think they spotted him out. And now London United could be looking for a play. Moving forward, the pillar comes up. Doesn't manage to keep anyone out, though, as Young and Jordan going to be able to move away. So, bit of a disappointing play there. Didn't burn anything himself in the bot side, but the right idea coming in from Mauer.
Yeah, I was really hoping we was going to get to see, you know, the Poppy E into Trundle pillar, but not quite there on the execution. Jorday and Hyojong kind of just get to walk out of the gank for free. Nothing really happens. However, Marwa looking at the mid lane, and Peru's on the Raptor camp. So
no, there could be a 2v2 as Peru moves through. Articuno getting the big shield, getting the stun down. A lot of damage coming down onto Xerac. He's going to be forced to flash away. Mao follows up, and now Peru's below half health as well, and it's going to be pretty messy. But Articuno moving forward, trying to get the damage out onto the Syndra. That's the target that they want. Will they be able to take it down? No, they won't just yet. We'll be able to get it, but Xerac's going to be picking up first blood in their stead. Now Peru and Mao are going to be fighting. Peru decides that he doesn't want to test his luck and moves away 1-for-1. But excellent play from Xerac to pick up the extra gold.
Yeah. Xerac really finding almost, I want to say luck. He really should have dropped there, but gets the scat of the week, finds Articuno, gets the kill trade. Both mid laners dropping there, as seeing that's not a favorable trade.
No, that's not. Step forward, get stunned, take a lot of damage, then walk away. Not really the trading pattern you go for on Poppy usually, but gonna be happy just to move away from that one. Jinx. Both Jinx and Vayne are gonna be happy to farm up as we do move into a replay of that first blood.
Yeah, and Articuno and Marwa just trying to get on top of Xerac here, and flash followed by Marwa, but kind of flashes in the wrong direction, and the flag and drag is good. Finds a double knock-up. We're seeing a gank in the top tower. Well, he's dead. It's going to take a while. But
yeah, Victorio, bit too extended, will go down eventually. Flash has to be used by Renekton, actually. But still going to be able to confirm the kill as Lucendi take the kill lead.
Yeah, take the kill lead. I'm not sure about Renekton actually expending his flash there. It's not going to really mean much in the grand scheme of things, hopefully. But it seemed like a pretty done and dusted kill. So kind of just flashing for confirmation. Renekton just saying yoink mine now. And yeah, very active from Peru there. It's what we said. Peru and Mao really have to be active if they want to impact these lanes. Peru really wants to just kind of get this Mordekaiser ahead, it seems. He's already been top 2 times. Was able to at least sort of match the gank in the mid lane. And if you're Marwa, you want to try and find something probably towards the bottom side now. You kind of want to try and put some gold in the Jinx's pocket. Seeing here get spotted out on the ward, unfortunately. But we're actually seeing all of London United move towards the bottom side in conjunction, and Peru just uses the EQ. He could be in trouble.
He'll be in trouble as members jump over 2 members of London United. Mao and Articuno behind the tower now, looking towards the Jarvan. We'll be able to pick him up. Here, Young and Jordan might look to return this one, but the Heathen has already rotated around to give support if required, and it's not going to be called for in the end, as the members of the Lucendi bot lane not happy to give away their jungler's life, but not going to be giving up their own in solidarity. And now Dragon being started up by London United. Going to be an infernal first time around, but excellent play there. Will secure the objective as well.
Yeah, very, very solid play, very standard play there. Kuno just manages to find some mid lane priority just off of the wishy-washy ganks and the fact that Xerac had to base really early on. The Dragon is going to be Puru.
Puru got it a little bit late, gets stunned against the wall, has to be careful. Doesn't have flash available, looking for a fight now, and Xerac looking to turn the bad play into a good one. Will secure the kill onto the healer. Now Mawa's the one trapped in the back of the pit, going to be going down as well. Looking like a messy engage from Puru initially, but there was no real cutting edge coming through from London United in that play, and it allowed the rest of the teams just to rotate down.
Yeah, I mean, Articuno was just still mid, still trying to get the mid lane priority. And, I mean, London United, they managed to secure the Infernal Dragon, but they're definitely not happy about giving over kills there. Fortunately, no kills go on to Jorday on the Vayne, so it could have been a little more catastrophic, but it is Xerac that at least picks up 1 kill credit for his troubles, so not too happy about that, as Koop's going to be missing, well, at least a cannon and a few creeps. That's a very big wave to be missing. Very unfortunate, but we do actually see a early rotation out here from Hero Jung and from Jorday, looking to try and get their hands on this Rift Herald now, as Puru is going to reset, hopefully path up towards the top side, try and secure some prior on this top lane, as I mean, London United, they don't really know it's happening until right now, until the Vayne shows top, so they're really behind on the play. Gonna end up basing now, however, Xerac could be in trouble, no flash.
So needs to be careful, not going to get stunned up, but it's going to take a lot of damage. A little bit burnt from the red buff at the end as well. They'll just stay up, but has to move away under tower, and London United trying to still make these proactive plays in the early game, trying to force themselves back into this one, but Lucendi are happy to just soak up the pressure.
Yeah. Very much willing to... Oh.
A summoner has reconnected.
Loads of connection issues today with players.
It's sometimes like that,
or at least in this game, because we didn't really have any pauses last game.
It should be fine. We'll get into it. It gives us a little bit of time to talk about the state of the game currently and the state of the map, because Lucendi looked like they were the slower of the two teams to get going, potentially, a little bit in the very early game, but are very happy to just allow London United to make these plays that aren't necessarily going too well for them and are moving around very, very effectively.
Yeah, and in stark contrast to last week, Lucendi the first ones to actually move up to this Herald in a convincing manner. So, very good to see that happening. As you'd imagine, given the positions on the map, that this should just be a Rift Herald going. Oh!
Is that stolen? It wasn't stolen. Yeah, no, it was taken up by Puru, but you know, that almost looked like an amazing steal from Koom on the jigs, but sadly not this time around. Rift Herald now in Jarvan's pocket, going to be looking to see where he drops that one down, where he decides to take gold, but we've got Australia lanes for a minute. There's no objectives up, there's no reason to rotate back around, and Mawa looking top. There's reason to gank this top lane. He's going to be looking towards the Leona, but going to get condemned back. The slow will land, but not easy to focus down and kill a tanky support member, and you can see in the picture-in-picture there.
Oh.
Wow. It was taken away milliseconds before hitting Jarvan. That's good, what's the word? Discipline from Puru to be able to secure that one. I would have panicked in that situation.
Yeah, sure. We'll say that. There's the heart attack material. Seeing a global ultimate fly into an objective which is as low as that Rift Herald was. But yeah, Lucendi very proactive now in that early game, managing to actually rotate the bottom lane up, secure the Herald, losing out on the early Infernal Dragon, but at least able to trade out that time. As now you'd imagine Eye is going to be towards the Mountain Dragon, I believe, through looking towards the bottom side with the Heralds.
The child has been dropped now, looking towards this tower. Victoria there on his own, but he's got members rotating. Koom coming in, as is Mawa. The knockup will only land onto the Jarvan, but Victoria needs to be a little bit careful he doesn't get taken down. It's a 3v2 right now, but Renekton making a 1v1 in the Death Realm as Mawa chases on towards the Jarvan in the mid lane. Damage comes down to Articuno. Will he be able to survive? He's going to try and dash away. Renekton does get the kill onto Victoria and is now going to get stunned up himself and will go down. It's a 1-for-1 trade in the bot side, with the Heathen picking up that kill, and in the mid lane no one goes down, but it was a close fought fight there as well.
Yeah, very close fought, and that is kind of the Echo Syndra lane in lane. It's often how it goes, but as the game progresses, this Echo will really just start to really jar the side of Lucendi, because outside of Renekton, no one's really going to be able to duel him until Vayne at least has a few more items in her pocket. And then even then, there's the threat of Echo just outright blowing her up. So we'll eventually kind of become a side lane powerhouse. But yeah, bottom lane, Lucendi again, just trying to be proactive with the Rift Herald. They're putting it onto Renekton. They're very clearly saying that they want him to sort of be a side lane problem. However, I feel like whenever you have a Vayne in the game, it's always going to kind of be that game warper where you want to put the gold onto her as much gold as you can, really. So sort of a similar-ish situation to last game, where it's not the end of the world or the worst thing to put it into not your late game carry, but you definitely would have preferred it as Heathen just says goodbye to Peru.
Well, that's why anyway near the dragon going to be secured. Second one of the game for London United, and going to be an Ocean Rift this time around. So a couple of the champions looking at Trundle, looking at Ornn, are going to be pretty happy to see that being the dragon of choice this time around. And honestly, we can't forget about London United scaling. They've got that Ornn on the top side. They've got the Jinx in the bottom lane. We talk about Vayne being this hyper carry. Well, Jinx is potentially right up there with her in terms of which AD carry can do the most in the late game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all going to be about, are these team fights sort of death ball? If Kum ever loses his flash, he's going to be really vulnerable to the Jarvan. And if this Jinx can ever get excited, okay.
Jorday, not so excited about that engage. Going to be going down very quickly. Kum donated the kill a little bit there by Mawa and the Heathen. But it's a Jinx, you know? Needs the kills, needs the cash. First one off the game. And now Hyung's going to be forced away from this bot tower. And with the damage they can do, they might be able to look to take this one down.
Yeah, and that's really important, getting the kill onto the Jinx. A lot of discipline showed there to just give the kill over. Already been one or two instances where Kum could have been given the kill credit, but not quite given the full gold. So very happy to see the kill donated over, as full tower bottom side going to be picked up. As
Gonna jump onto Xerac, trying to get the damage down. Ultimate is going to be traded for Ultimate. It's probably looking forward, looking for the Cataclysm. Won't want to take it under tower this time around, though, and allowing Articuno to move away. Close again. This mid lane fight has actually been very close between Xerac and Articuno.
Yeah, and it's just the way that the lane often plays out. Echo kind of wants to try and force priority, make Syndra uncomfortable with those short trades. However, often because of the trading pattern, how the trades will occur, the Syndra is always going to be able to return a lot of damage. So often or not, you'll either see that whenever you see an Echo and Syndra match up, they either handshake priority, whether it's Syndra giving it up or Echo sometimes has to give it up very early. However, with the recent mana changes to Syndra's Q, you'd imagine that Echo actually finds it a lot easier now in the early game. But yeah, it's the reason why we see such a close mid lane in terms of always looking towards it and just members being 300 HP or less, as that's a pretty audacious teleport.
Peru coming in for the audacious flank. Will force the Cataclysm, will force the flash out of Jinx, and is going to be sent packing. Now Xerac moving forward, maybe looking to get the kill onto Hero. No ultimate available though. Means there won't be any cutting edge from the Syndra in the mid lane. Everyone gets out alive. And the tower remains standing.
The tower remains standing. Peru and Kum both have to blow their flash. So now the next time that Peru actually has his ultimate up and available, he's going to be able to lock down that Jinx really efficiently.
Peru has to use the flag and drag away from the tower as the pillar comes up. And Mawa just replacing the Heathen in the mid lane 3v2. Able to secure the safety of the tower for a little while longer. Articuno in the top side though, trying to get some pressure and some damage down, but Renekton quick to respond, moving forward, wants to get the farm and deny any more going on to this Echo, as he's going to still look to siege up. And now members of London United, they've got themselves the number advantage in the mid lane for the first time in a long time. But one scan of the week stun is all it takes, as Mawa has been chased away.
Yeah, Mawa chased away, but forcing the priority for now and map territory. Okay, this
Articuno really wants this tower, gets the shield, gets the tower, and gets out. Perfect crime from the Echo, as the rest of his team is doing Rift Herald, but we can see Leona coming down, Xerac coming down. Lucendi don't want to give this one up without a fight. Rift Herald is going to be secured quickly and easily by London United. Actually, they are happy to give this one up without a fight as they move away.
Yeah, just not really willing to. Jorday's in the bottom side, just farming up. He's still yet to actually hit one item. I feel like Jorday's in lethal of Ornn if he steps up incorrectly. Ooh, okay.
Nice flash from Syndra.
Yeah, very nice flash. Definitely would have been CC to death right there as Articuno. not able to find the parallel convergence, so no stun for him on this day, but Rift Herald drop mid, seems like they're just going to break the tower. Likely nothing else to be had.
Gonna just take that one up. As I say, it's gonna be cut down immediately afterwards, so good use of it though. Mid tower always a little bit of a tough nut to crack. We saw it last game a little bit, and gonna be happy to have that one down, and allows them to break into the enemy jungle. Lucendi now gonna be much harder for them to defend their vision that they've got out behind objectives, especially Dragon, which is gonna be spawning up in 15 seconds time. Resets for that one coming through, and you can sense there might be a fight over this one.
Yeah, there's blood in the war. There's definitely blood in the war here. We're going to definitely see a pretty big skirmish. I'm sure both teams, yeah, even Renekton, even though he has the teleport, he's just here. He's ready. We'll have to see whether or not Victorio finds a good R.
Goodness, be careful. Victorio coming in from the back with the teleport, as we expected he probably would. Looking for the ultimate, gonna be landing it on at 2. No one as he misses the knock-up, and now the fight is gonna be very, very messy. Victoria in the fray. Kuku with the back untouched is gonna be putting down the damage. Renekton has already picked up a kill. Victoria's already gone down, and now the backline is exposed. Mawa goes down. The Cataclysm was saved until he get it onto the Jinx, who's now trapped inside, trapped with so many members of Lucendi. They're gonna pick up 4 kills in that fight, and that was a disastrous play from London United.
Yeah, and London, realistically, they're just not really at the correct kind of items where they're ready to fight for this. We are going to get a replay here as Arcuno almost gets caught out, and then you see the teleport here from Victorio as Mawa gets dropped really low by a lot of spells. The Orna ultimate just, crucially, just whiffs. Doesn't hit anybody.
Is he in the death row?
No, he's not even in the death row. So, just outright misses as we're seeing Arcuno trying to take down Sirik, but it's just not really enough. Renekton drags the Heathen into the Death Realm, takes him with him, and health bars just drop very slowly. It's a very sort of what feels like, or at least what looks like, a very controlled fight from Lucendi. Very happy to sort of just play on top of each other because they know the Jinx isn't really at item spikes. And I feel like this is a really big misstep from London. They felt like just because they, you know, secured the last couple of objectives that they were ready and they were willing very clearly to try and contest that dragon, but really just had to press tab right there. Syndra, Luden's pen boots, I'm pretty sure she had those. Vayne just came out with her Bork. The Mordekaiser already had his Liandry's, so all of these really big item completions were there for the side of Lucendi as trade. It was about even in the bottom side. And this is going to be something to definitely keep our eyes on as the game progresses. How Arcuno tries to affect this side lane into Renekton, as seems like we're getting a little more of a skirmish here.
Uru does want to make it a fair fight. 2v1, stepping forward, will get stunned up. Shield comes out onto Echo though, and needs to be a little bit careful fighting in that 2v1. We'll be able to ult out of the Cataclysm. We're going to be taken into the Death Realm, and there's no ulting out of this one. Going to be smacked down by Renekton, who's going to be able to secure the kill, secure the kill. And on the top side, London United looking to secure a tower.
Yeah, at least looking to try and trade it back here. Not exactly the most important tower in the world, but trading back the gold is the most important thing, so very proactive there from London United. Very happy to see that as Xerx's a little out of position here. I think he'll be able to walk out though. Yeah.
Yeah, just going to be able to float away. No real threat there, but moving in now with members of his team turning up, not going to be so scared, and you can see Renekton in the bottom of your screen, in the bottom lane, taking down that tower. Going to be teleport in now as the fight does kick off. Will the knock-up land this time? It's going to be used. It's going to knock up only one member, though. It's Xeric on the back, but Arcuno is quick to follow up. Kumkum gets so much damage and secures the first kill. Shutdown goes onto the Heathen now as they chase Puru away from the minion wave, but Renekton not going to be chased away so easily. But that's the fight that London United needed. They take a couple of members and are pinging towards Baron.
Yeah, I mean, it's very audacious. I feel like you'd probably want to just stay away from that one for now. It's probably not worth the flip. So, very happy to see them at least walk back to secure mid lane priority. They could now return to it, and it would be a little more convincing of a take. I mean, Puru is actually on the bottom side of the map. I feel like Lucendi just don't necessarily think they're doing it right now. This could just be an outright sneak. I mean, there's no... Yeah, great...
They know now.
Yeah, they know now off the blue trinket. We'll have to see whether they pull off it. Derek does have TP. He is going to TP towards the mid lane.
moved out of the base, so there's going to be no home guards, but it doesn't matter. Puru now turned up, scaring away London United, and what could have been disastrous for Lucendi turns out to be okay, but the macro awareness maybe not quite there for this very young roster in terms of playtime. Of course, Zirek, Renek 10, and Jordan all making their debuts in the UKEL in this match, and maybe a little bit more experience was needed to know exactly what was going on there.
Yeah, I mean, they still sniff out the Baron at the end of the day, so no harm, no foul. At the end of the day, this play is actually going to end up costing London United their mid-tier 1 in the sort of grand scheme of things. Having to reset off the back of it and then return back out onto the map, and even potentially the top tier 1 too. So Renekton going to be able to get his hands on the gold from this tower. Going to get a reset off. He's actually so incredibly powerful right now. I feel like we haven't necessarily touched on items too much outside of that one Dragon Skirmish. Renekton's on Nash's Tooth with the Liandry's already. 21 minutes into the game, 22. No one can 1v1 this guy right now. If he drags somebody into the Death Realm and he hits all of his spells, it's called the Death Realm for a reason. So he's really scary. London really have to pay attention to this member now. They really have to sort of try their best to play away from him for the meantime, because they don't really have anything to really deal with him. They don't have any sort of point and click CC like the rest of this blue side team that... Oh! No, okay, I thought we got interrupted. I was about to say, Puru was probably going to have to burn his flash. Well, it seems like London United are going to have their noses into this dragon first, at least.
Yeah, going to be starting up. Look at the bottom of the screen there. Renekton and Articuno are having a fight 1v1. Articuno actually has the better of the trade and is going to be able to move away to assist his team a little bit quicker, but members coming through. The ultimate comes through, catches on Kuku, but only the slow Renekton on the back though, looking towards the Jinx. Is going to be forced to splash away, and now the damage to the out of the fight for a couple of seconds could be huge. Puru on the back looking for Articuno. He's going to bounce back away from them, and the dragon is going to be secured by Lucendi. Now the fight kicks off in earnest as the Cataclysm comes down, trapping everyone. He's going to lose his life for it, but might keep the rest of his team alive. Articuno on the slide, actually going to be able to secure one, and this is a complete cleanup from London United. They pick up a double kill. That's going to be Echo on that one. They pick up almost the ace as only Mordecai gets alive. And 4 members of London United straight to the Baron.
Yeah, and I have to really highlight here, what is the Mordekaiser doing? He doesn't really take anyone into the Death Realm with him. He had multiple chances to actually bring somebody in, like the jungler, for example, could have taken Kum in, but he would have flashed over the wall. Here again, could have taken Mawa, but just opts into not doing anything. And then on the opposite side of the fight, everyone just ends up dying. Puru manages to get the dragon secured with the flash, but you see in the bottom left-hand screen of your bottom left-hand corner of your screens, Baron ends up dropping because of Puru having to die to secure the Ocean Dragon. So they get the dragon, but the cost seems really hefty. And it really just felt like Lucendi a little bit disjointed in that fight.
We've seen this a little bit from Lucendi for the past few games, and it's difficult to draw parallels when it is such a new roster, but the late game decision making hasn't always been there. And yes, I know 24 minutes, haha, that's not late game, but they picked up a Baron off that play. Therefore, it is a late game play, right? This play could be the thing that maybe doesn't win out and out the game for London United, but if they take a few of these towers, if they look to break the base open on this play, it could definitely spell all but the end for Lucendi.
Yeah, it's really putting London United here on the high ground. Having this Baron, we'll have to see exactly what they can take from it. There is quite a lot of wave clear. Well, not a whole bunch, but just the Syndra being present is often enough to sort of threat that kind of sort of wave clear into random scat of the week, which is followed up by a lot of CC, as Arcuna got a really nice trade onto Renekton top side here. Pulling multiple members, but you'd have to imagine Arcuna just going to walk out safely. And so far, at least, Lucendi not losing too much of importance. Are going to lose this bottom tier 2 tower. But so far, nothing critical. Nothing critical. Still have 90 seconds left of this Baron, though. You'd imagine this last inner in the mid lane is going to end up dropping off of the next siege. By just falling back into a 1-3-1 here. It's exactly what London United need to do. They've got the Echo just to sit top. They've got both of them have the teleport in their pockets, can respond if a skirmish breaks out mid. And with the priority, Could even look to rotate over, but trying to find some damage.
Articuno just trying to get another one of these trades onto Renekton, and they're going very, very well at present. Mid tower does drop as members step away a little bit just to make sure their top lane is going to be okay, and LDN United will get everything outside the base. They'll call that a win on this first Baron. Power play still have it for a few seconds as well, so maybe looking for a little bit of final pressure, but definitely a successful Baron so far.
Yeah, a successful enough Baron, that's all they really need. Yes, opening the base would have been nice, but there were still too many towers up. At the end of the day, it had to realistically be an unforced error from Lucendi or just a nice pick out from London United, which neither of which occurred, so just the outer towers for now, but I have to draw our attentions now to the items. Jinx is 3 items, Rapid Fire Cannon, Runans, and of course the Molten Edge. The Ornn has finally started to hand out these items, so Jinx is huge. Now on the flip side, Vayne, Jorday does have the core 2 items to this champion inside of the Rage Blade and the Blade of the Ruin King, but don't quite think it's going to be dealing as much DPS as this Jinx is at this moment, and even manages to have enough gold in his pocket to pick up the QSS, so Renekton, hopefully someone on Lucendi presses tab and realizes that she can no longer be dragged into the Death Realm. And as things are, you would imagine that once this Ocean Dragon comes up, Lucendi should kind of just yield it. Going for this fight would probably be a bit catastrophic unless they find some kind of miracle pick going into it. Though, however, it has to be mentioned that with the Mordekaiser being in the game, you can kind of warp team fights just by dragging someone into the Death Realm. In this case, it can't be Kum, so he can't really take out arguably the most fed, no, not even arguably, the most fed member of London United. But posturing just indicates to me, very happy to give over this Ocean Dragon. Sole point now for London United once they take this one down. And now it's just going to be about the next Baron.
London happy to take that one uncontested. The next Baron is up in 1.5 minutes, so that is the time period that both of these teams have to prepare for that position. Of course, no inhibitors taken down from either team. The base is still intact for both teams, so you don't have to worry too much about that level of wave management. But Articuno, always happy to make himself a bit of a nuisance in that bot side. Also keep note that 4 teleports are available, 2 on each side. Top and mid laner are going to be happy to go to the bot side of the map, willing to teleport up if they are called upon for the Baron buff, but there might be some resets still to come. People are going to be gathering up as much gold as they can in order to make this fight as easy as possible, and honestly, this Jinx is going to be absolutely terrifying in these Baron engagements. 3.5 items with that Molten Edge as well, but Articuno actually might need to be a bit careful. Does get knocked up, taking some damage. You've got to imagine we'll be able to just move away from this one, though. No one's really threatening him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, no one really can except for Renekton, and he's slowly fallen behind in levels because of the Baron and just not really being able to pick up as much CS as Articuno has managed to find himself. Really behind in the CS department, actually. Renekton, whilst he does have the kills and the items in his back pocket, hasn't really found a lot of the CS, only now just dinged level 15. And yeah, London United, sort of similarly to Vector, in a position where they can, from last game, can kind of just slowly just choke out Lucendi here. With the Baron spawning up. Nice ward from Lucendi, but in the grand scheme of things, likely not going to be able to do much about this Baron dropping, though. Posturing suggests they at least don't want to give it up about a fight. However, if they fight this and lose, probably going to be the nail in the coffin.
Those are Lucendi. No, this is happening. You've got to imagine. Renekton happy to stride forward. Can see it is going pretty low. 6k now as members of London United undecided whether they want to peel off as the ultimate used from Poppy to get rid of one member. Articuno is going to be forced in. Will he be able to ultimate freedom? He should be able to. Going to be stunned up for a long time. They will be able to get the ultimate. And so much damage coming through. Kukum on the back, untouched until now. Will be able to Cataclysm, but it just doesn't matter. They're not going to be able to do any damage to this Jinx right now. She's already gone down in the fight, in fact. And Renekton now going to be the last one to full damage. Was coming out in such a mountain. It was coming out of Articuno, who's going to be dancing around the back of the fight, taken low. Will he burn?
Oh.
No, he won't. Xerac moving forward, trying to deny Baron from as many members as possible. Only going to be able to find the Jinx in that play, though, as the other 4 members scrap away. But I was shocked by the amount of damage that Echo was doing, thinking Jinx was alive much longer than she was, just because the amount of health bars that were getting decimated by London United.
Yeah, it was a very, very messy fight. Everyone was deathballed on top of each other. He even finds a nice ultimate onto Peru to sort of just deny any chance of him being able to secure the Baron. Baron goes down, and what we see here is just a nice ultimate coming out from Victorio and getting a zoom in because it's a very hectic fight. There's a lot going on. Renekton is in the Death Realm with the Echo, but Peru dies, Hyojung dies, and all of a sudden the front line is completely gone, and Renekton comes out of the Death Realm vulnerable, does manage to pick up Kum on the backside, but it's not really enough. Not really enough, Will, and Baron goes down. And now London United, they're kind of in this position where they certainly could break this base with the Baron, but at the same time, the Baron kind of, it doesn't truly eclipse the Ocean Soul spawn, but they could use the setup to try and secure the Ocean Soul, which I feel like is a little more of a powerful tool. So we'll have to see whether or not Lucendi actually afford them the space to push up in these lanes towards the base, or whether or not London United actually just end up waiting until this dragon spawns up, they secure the Ocean Soul, or at least they fight around it to try and secure it. But with a gold lead as big as this, I feel like London United could kind of throw their weight around here, but seems like just slowly pushing in the lanes at first. And Lucendi are just going to have to hold and sort of, well, wait this out, see what London United are actually planning for here. As a lot of the Baron duration is actually already just gone, as Arcuno could have gone a little bit too far. But he's just so safe. He's so safe on the side lane. There's not really enough lockdown consistently to kill this Echo, as Victorio takes down the top lane inhib tower, and kind of feels like Lucendi have to just sit here and watch their base crumble.
The base has been broken now. In the top side, the tower has gone down. Inhibitors are still standing though. But there's still a little bit of time on this Baron. Not enough to take anything else you've got to imagine, but enough time to just force in one more wave as London United, as you say, want to be getting that Dragon Soul. Articuno looking for a flank now. Might be caught out himself though. Will be stunned up. Needs to be careful. So much CC coming down. Articuno can ult away. And now the backside Renekton getting the damage out. But look at the middle of the fight. Kuku at the back untouched. Looking for Xerac. Will be able to find the kill onto him. And now looking for more DPS. Jinx untouched. Articuno still riding around. The Heathen needs to be careful. They're going to be taken low. Manages to flash away. Kum now being attacked by multiple members. Will be taken out. The Heathen running for his dear life. But this fight, much better from Lucendi. They take out major members. Should be able to take out the Heathen as well as Peru moving forward. Tanky probably won't be that tanky though. Should go down with Vayne here as well. In the base, Val can crack open another inhibitor tower. But they're looking to secure this dragon up. They've got Mordekaiser. They've got Renekton to confirm that the inhibitor won't go down today. This is deja vu from last game. This is messy team fights.
I'm feeling some deja vu, Will. I'm feeling it. It's messy team fights, back and forth. Except this time, London definitely had a longer period of control, it felt, off of the Barons. And yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what Arcuno was really trying to achieve with that flank. It seemed like he was a little bit disjointed from the rest of his team. We'll see, you know, Lucendi are walking into what is practically complete darkness. And Arcuno feels kind of comfortable to try and find Xerac. Feels like he's out of position, but the Scout of the Week's just there. And fortunately for him, the Solar Flare doesn't connect, and he does manage to get the ultimate off, but I mean, it's just into the loving hands of Renekton and Jorde, so how much does it really matter? A bit of a bounce house for Xerac and Puru as the Victoria are knocks them both up. And yes, Kum goes untouched for a very extended period of time, but you have to actually count how many times he's able to auto these really important high-value targets. Because the answer is really not too many times, and by the time he's actually kind of afforded any kind of ability to be able to step forward and throw down some DPS, he's right on top of Renekton when he comes out of the Death Realm.
And Lucendi, of course, get the dragon off back of that one. Both teams now on soul point. Articuno manages to pick up the blue buff and has to dance away from multiple members of Lucendi looking for blood, looking for the pick that can secure them another exceptional fight, but London United were in control, were feeling confident. After that fight, maybe not so much.
Yeah. We'll have to see how the confidence is just by sort of posturing on the map and willingness to try and find more fights. But London United, at least, you know, we're approaching that period of time now, at least in this game, where the gold lead is going to sort of start to matter a lot less. And It's going to be more on execution in fights, who dies first, anybody gets picked off by CC, that kind of deal, as London United actually all being Lucendi to the bottom side here. They're at least going to be able to take down the final inhib tower.
Maybe looking for the fight, though, as Young moves forward. Doesn't land the Xenoblade. Does anyone Renekton, though, looking for someone. Can't grab the claw. And now here comes the Cataclysm. And finally, the engage that they need. But Kumkum wants to get it on the back. Going to be happy just the last hit. Articuno's taking the mid inhibitor. Will be able to secure that one before moving his way down. But that was a 5v4, and London United didn't lose a member. Articuno now moved towards the top side. Going to be cleaning up the base as London United move towards the bot side. Articuno managed to take down the inhibitor before the rest of London United are able to deal with theirs. And in fact, they're going to be chased away. Articuno now thinking about the flank, maybe getting some flashbacks to the last team fight and deciding against, and London United happy to just siege this one out. In the top side, Peru gets on top of Articuno, but doesn't win that 1v1, forced to back away. And now the fight in the bot side is kicking off in earnest. Young takes a lot of damage, but on the Leona should not be the priority target. Peru now, the one who's taken low. Zerik's gone gold, and Renekton also looking for targets on the backside, but it's going to be Victoria who manages to take down the support. Zerik on the back, why are you doing there? Gets taken out. Peru finally manages to take down a target. It's going to be Victoria, though. The damage is also left. Kumkum needs to be careful, but can certainly move forward. Getting excited, getting hyper, getting frantic about the fact that London United are about to win this game as he picks up the triple kill and picks up the ace.
Yeah, and
Quadra, in fact.
Oh, quadra kill, yeah. And London United just making the correct snap macro decision to all rotate towards the bottom side of the map. They beat out Lucendi on the rotation, and then Lucendi feel too pressured. They feel like they have to take a fight off the back end of that. And you see what happens. It goes entirely wrong. Kumkum's able to free hit on the extended fight, gets excited, rolls in with the quadra kill, all the DPS, and even before that, Articuno had already taken 2 inhibitors, so any way you look at that, even if that fight doesn't go that way, that was still going to be 2 inhibitors down for Lucendi. It was going to be a tough position to find their way themselves out of, but Jinx just gets the free hit. Jinx gets excited, Jinx gets a quadra kill, game ends.
And so much of that game was the story of how's Kumkum doing this fight? Let's check in, because if Lucendi managed to get on top of Kumkum, or if Kumkum was taken away from the priority members, like in the fight where you said, look how many times he gets auto attack. Yeah, gets a lot of auto attacks onto Puru and onto Hyoyoung, but like, in the nicest possible way, who cares about you taking down the tank Jarvan and the Leona, who aren't actually going down because they're tanky?
Yeah.
Right? But in that last team fight, Kumkum was untouched until the very end. At one point, Zerik was just in the middle of the enemy team for some reason. Not sure how he managed to find himself there, but did get taken down by Kumkum. And after that, it is just clear. And that damage graph just spells, oh, look how much more damage Kumkum did than anyone on Lucendi.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe 6,000 of that damage, some ridiculous number came off the back end of that fight, that final fight, getting the quadra kill. It almost feels a little bit odd seeing him have that much more damage. I would have felt like Articuno maybe would have racked up a slightly higher damage score, but you can see on the flip side though, Lucendi, there weren't no slouches, but kind of just the nature of the comp there from London United. Jinx, Echo, it had to be the carries, and when Kumkum finally was afforded that fight where everything just opened up, he had the space to just press Q, have the rockets out, that was all it took, and that was it. That was it. There's nothing really more. Like, it just really needed that one Jinx fight, because that was the only fight where you kind of saw, wow, Jinx is kind of going off. Because other than that, kind of low impact, but finds the fight when it's important, finds the damage when it's important, at the critical moment, and they take the win.
Taking the win, leaving Lucendi still in the hunt for their first W of the season. London United with I was going to say emphatic, but, you know, it took them a while. It was a ground-out win, but they definitely deserved it in the end. That's it for myself and Jamada, but that's not it for the UKEL, because when we return, it's going to be Viperia taking on Mythos in a huge third game of the day. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a minute.